Look at your bank account right now. Go ahead, open the app. You see those numbers? You think that's your money? You think it's a store of value that belongs to you, protected by law, waiting for you to spend it how you see fit. But what if I told you that in less than 5 years, the digits on that screen won't be money at all? What if the financial collapse everyone is predicting for 2030 isn't an accident caused by incompetence, but a controlled demolition designed to replace your savings with something terrifyingly different? We are watching the global economy teeter on the edge of a precipice. You feel it every time you go to the grocery store. You feel it at the gas pump. You feel it in that sinking realization that no matter how hard you work, the goalposts keep moving. They tell you it's transitory. They tell you it's supply chains. They tell you it's simply market forces. But that is a lie. The pain you are feeling, the inflation, the crushing debt, the instability, is not a bug in the system, it is a feature. It is the softening up of the American psyche to accept a radical new operating system for humanity. We are moving from a world where you own the fruits of your labor to a world where an algorithm decides if you are allowed to eat. Before we go down this rabbit hole, I need to know who is awake out there. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or state in the comments right now. I want to see how far this message is spreading before they try to suppress it. And if you want the unfiltered truth that the mainstream financial media is too scared to touch, hit that subscribe button. We are building a lifeboat, and you're going to want a seat. To understand the trap that is being set for 2030, we have to look at the blueprint. The elites don't invent new tricks, they just refine the old ones. Let's rewind to 1913, the creation of the Federal Reserve. They sold it to the American public as a safety net, a way to stop bank runs and stabilize the economy. But in reality, it was the moment America handed the keys to the kingdom over to a private banking cartel. Before 1913, a dollar was a claim on a specific weight of gold. After 1913, it slowly became a claim on debt. But the real crime happened in 1971. President Nixon temporarily suspended the convertibility of the dollar into gold. He went on television and promised the American people it was a short-term measure to stabilize the dollar against speculators. He said your money would still be worth the same. Sound familiar? Just like when they told us 2 weeks to flatten the curve would save the healthcare system. Temporarily leaving the gold standard was supposed to save the dollar. That temporary measure is now over 50 years old. It unleashed the era of fiat currency, money backed by nothing but faith and government violence. It allowed them to print towards infinity, eroding your savings invisibly. Fast forward to 2008, the housing crisis, the banks gambled with your deposits, leveraged themselves to the moon. And when the house of cards collapsed, they didn't go to jail. They got bailed out. They printed billions of dollars to plug the holes in their balance sheets, and they handed the bill to the taxpayer. They told us it was necessary to save the system. Sound familiar? Now look at 2020. A global crisis hits. The printers go into overdrive. In just 2 years, the Federal Reserve printed nearly 40% of all U.S. dollars in existence. They flooded the streets with stimulus checks, hush money, to keep people docile while they locked down the economy. They told us it was relief. They told us it was free money. But we know nothing is free. The price was 9% inflation officially, and probably 20% inflation in reality. Sound familiar? Every single time there is a crisis, the solution is the same. Centralize more power, print more money, and rob the middle class to protect the elite. 1971, decoupled money from gold. 2008, decoupled the market from risk. 2020, decoupled the economy from reality. But here is the dark truth they don't want you to see. All of those events, 1971, 2008, 2020, were just preparation. They were stress tests. They were calibrating the machine. They were pushing the debt bubble to its absolute limit, knowing eventually it would pop. Why would they do that? Why would they intentionally drive the U.S. into $34 trillion of debt? Why would they destroy the purchasing power of the dollar? Because you cannot introduce a new system until the old one is completely destroyed. You cannot get the people to accept a digital prison unless they are begging for safety from the chaos of hyperinflation. They are engineering the collapse of the dollar to clear the way for its replacement. The history books tell us that empires die when their currency fails. Rome, Weimar, Germany, Zimbabwe. But this time, it's different. This isn't just a collapse, it's a transition. They aren't trying to save the dollar. They are euthanizing it. And what they have waiting in the wings isn't just a new currency. It's a control grid that would make George Orwell blush. This brings us to the present day and the terrifying mechanism that is being rolled out as we speak. Most people think the Great Reset is just a catchy slogan or a conspiracy theory about people eating bugs. They are missing the forest for the trees. The real reset isn't about food. It's about the ledger. The deduction is clear. We are looking at a coordinated move by the Bank for International Settlements, the Central Bank of Central Banks, to introduce the unified ledger. This isn't just digital money. We already have digital money. When you swipe a Visa card, that's digital. This is entirely different. This is the tokenization of all assets on a single programmable network controlled by the central banks. It's not just about tracking what you spend, it's about permitting what you spend. The mechanism that enables the 2030 collapse is Programmable Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC. But here's the twist that no one sees coming. They aren't going to force you to use it at gunpoint. They are going to make you want it. When the next banking crisis hits, and it will, and your local bank freezes your withdrawals, the Fed will step in. They will offer you a direct account with the Federal Reserve. They will say, "Don't worry, your money is safe with us. Just download this app and all your funds are available immediately." It will feel like a rescue. It will feel like safety. But the moment you accept that direct account, you have crossed the Rubicon. You have moved your assets from a commercial bank, which operates under private law, to the central bank, which operates under sovereign decree. And the man leading the charge, the architect of this digital prison? You won't believe the name. It's not just the Fed chair. The trail leads directly to the general manager of the BIS. Augustin Carstens, a man who was caught on camera, openly admitting that with cash, they don't know who's using it, but with CBDC, they will have absolute control. Let's take the gloves off. We need to dissect exactly how this system works, because the mechanics are what make it truly terrifying. This is not finance. This is weaponized code. The core technology behind the 2030 plan is programmability. In our current system, money is neutral. If I have a $10 bill and you have a $10 bill, they are identical. The $10 bill doesn't know who I am. It doesn't know what I believe politically, and it doesn't care what I buy with it. It is an instrument of freedom. A CBDC removes that neutrality. It turns money into a software token that can be programmed with smart contracts. Think of a smart contract like a digital leash. It is a set of rules baked into the money itself. Mechanic number 1, expiration dates. The elites hate savings. Savings represent independence. If you have savings, you can quit your job. You can start a business. You can say no in the 2030 system. They can program your money to expire. This isn't science fiction. China is already testing this with the digital yuan. Imagine getting your paycheck, but the code says must be spent within 30 days or it vanishes. This forces velocity of money. It forces you to consume. It eliminates the ability to build generational wealth. You become a hamster on a wheel that never stops spinning. It is the ultimate solution to a recession-forced spending at the barrel of a digital gun. Mechanic number 2, negative interest rates. Right now, if rates go negative, you can just pull your cash out of the bank and put it under your mattress. That limits how much they can punish you. But in a cashless CBDC system, there is no mattress. If the Federal Reserve decides the economy needs stimulation, they can impose a 5% interest rate on your account instantly. Every morning you wake up, you have less money than you did when you went to sleep. It is the theft of time. It is parasitic finance extracting your life energy while you sleep. Mechanic number 3, the social credit carbon merger. This is the end game. The integration of your financial wallet with your digital ID and carbon footprint. Let's look at the numbers. Statistic 1. 93% of the world's central banks are currently engaged in CBDC work. This is a global coordination, not a local experiment. Statistic 2. In Executive Order 14,067, signed March 9, 2022. The U.S. government explicitly placed the highest urgency on the research and development of a U.S. CBDC. Statistic 3. The U.S. national debt is flying past $34 trillion. The interest payment alone on that debt is now over $1 trillion a year, more than we spend on the entire military. Why do these numbers matter? Because the math doesn't work anymore. The system is mathematically insolvent. They cannot pay the debt back, so they must default. But a hard default causes chaos. The CBDC allows for a soft default. They reset the currency, move everyone into the new system, and then begin rationing resources. Imagine you go to buy a steak. You have the money, but the app on your phone declines the transaction. Why? Not because of insufficient funds, but because you've reached your carbon allowance for the month. Or imagine you want to donate to a political candidate that opposes the establishment. Transaction declined. Suspicious activity. Or imagine you want to buy ammunition. Transaction declined. Violation of community standards. This is the creation of an engineered collapse of personal agency. It is a system where you are guilty until proven innocent by the algorithm. The illusion of the current market is that it's free. But the derivatives market, a quadrillion-dollar casino of bets on bets, has already hollowed out the real economy. The elites know the derivatives bubble is going to burst. It's a mathematical certainty. When it does, the liquidity will dry up instantly. The ATMs will go dark. The supply chains will freeze. And in that moment of pure panic, when the populace is screaming for a solution, they will unveil the unified ledger. It's fast, they'll say. It's secure, they'll say. It prevents tax evasion, they'll say. All true, but it also ends privacy forever. It turns every citizen into a node on a surveillance grid. It is the perfect marriage of big tech and big banking. Greed drove them to build the casino, but the lust for control is driving them to build the prison. They are taking the moral hazard of the banking system where they take the risks and you pay the price and codifying it into law. This is the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. But not just wealth, it is a transfer of rights. The 2030 plan is to render the Constitution obsolete. Not by repealing it, but by bypassing it through the terms and conditions of a banking app. We are running out of time. This system is faster, smarter, and more global than anything we faced in 1913 or 1971. The technology is already built. FedNow is the rail. The executive orders are signed. The pilot programs are running. The only thing missing is the crisis that justifies the switch. This is a warning to every person watching this video. The collapse isn't the end of the world for the elites. It's the ribbon-cutting ceremony for their new world. If we stay in denial, if we continue to trust institutions built on borrowed time, we will wake up in a cage with the door locked from the outside. We have to stop looking at the graph and hoping it goes back up. We have to look at the structure and realize it is designed to fall on top of us. The danger isn't that we lose our money. The danger is that we lose the ability to use our money. Freedom cannot exist without financial privacy. If they can turn off your ability to buy food, you are not a citizen. You are a subject. So, I ask you, are we wiser now? Or are we walking the same path as 1913, just in better suits? If you refuse to be a victim of the 2030 collapse, you need to diversify. You need to get out of the system. You need to own real assets. And you need to spread this message. Share this video with one person who needs to wake up. Just one. Break the algorithm. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to opt out of their digital dragnet before the trap snaps shut. Don't let them catch you sleeping. Class dismissed.